paying extreme price for Cross Island MRT, a faster ride to species extinction. Hello Singaporeans, thank you for being chained to your roots. We all love Singapore and her beautiful, amazing rainforests. We are here today to take personal action, to save our central forest, to make an appeal to Land Transport Authority in the hope of preventing a catastrophe. Allow me first to introduce ourselves. My name is Teresa Gutensson. I'm a native Singaporean, a Chinese Peranakan, an eco-artist and environmentalist. Next to me here are my dearest green friends, Dr. Vilma Di Rosario and Andrew Tay. Celine is unable to be here this morning. As environmentalists, we embrace our natural and cultural heritage, and we promote eco-living and conservation of biodiversity. Personally, I have a lot of appreciation for what the government has achieved for Singapore and Singaporeans. I love our island for its Southeast Asian flavor, its warm mixed people, its sunny climate, and especially its steamy jungles. The rainforest to me is what makes our urban island and crowded city very special and livable. It defines us as a tropical isle. The rainforest creates an alluring environment that sets us apart from many other cities. In short, our environment shapes us. Cross Island MRT line. Like many of you, I was deeply shocked and saddened by news of the proposed Cross Island MRT line running under our forest reserves. We are all aware of the value of the rainforest as a very precious natural heritage for Singaporeans. It is a critical refuge for our very last wildlife. The potential irreversible damage to fragile rainforest habitats, its freshwater streams, and its many endangered and threatened species is very real. Luckily, it is not yet too late. We sincerely appeal to LTA to reroute the Cross Island MRT line and to avoid altogether any invasive and destructive soil investigations. Allow me to elaborate the reasons why. 1. The record of devastation must stop. Those of you who know the history of Singapore will be aware that our nation's early wealth was built with massive sacrifice of rainforest plant and animal species. A wealth profited from crops such as gambia, rubber, pineapple, which were gifts of the rainforest we devastated. 50 years ago, 3 months after I was born, on 16 June 1963, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, then Prime Minister of Singapore, planted a mempak tree at Farrer Circus. And 50 years later, on 16 June 2013, he planted a rain tree at Holland Village to mark 5 decades of greening Singapore. Since the start of that brilliant campaign, an amazing 1.4 million trees have been planted by NParks across public parks and along Singapore's roads. This is a wonderful achievement after the historical devastation of our rainforest. I agree with Mr. Lee Kuan Yew when he said that without the green effort, Singapore would be a darker and uglier place. And I would add, a much hotter home as well. However, although our man-made parks and gardens are green and great, but they cannot replace lost ancient forest ecosystems and native species that have become extinct. When endemic species are gone from our heritage, they are gone forever. Our majestic native Malayan tiger is gone from Singapore, and the last remaining 500 tigers in Malaysia are tragically being hunted to the brink of extinction. Their plight is very critical. To save them, we need urgent and concrete conservation measures. What will be the consequence of losing this apex hunter of our rainforests? Fact is, we as humans have yet to fully understand the full consequences of losing our global species biodiversity on such a frightening scale. 2. Taking a risk with our reserves. The whole of our primeval island was once covered by dryland forest, wetland forest, and mangrove forest. So exactly how much of our forest cover is left today? Let's hear the numbers from conservationists. 96% of our rainforest is destroyed. 96% of our mangroves are gone. 70% of our reefs have vanished due to reclamation and related sedimentation and pollution. Despite our green city, our total forest cover is actually less than 4%. Our original primal forest is down to a mere 0.5%. I repeat, 0.5%. Species upon species have become extinct. When will it be enough? When will we stop? Let us save what little precious forest we have left. The very term reserve means it should be a safe sanctuary for wildlife. Let us ask ourselves, can we afford to take a risk with our already threatened species? Should we further fragment our last remaining forests? 3. Our regional heritage and identity. 2 years ago, on 18 October 2011, our Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, BTNR, was officially declared an ASEAN Heritage Park. Together with Sungai Buloh Wetland Reserve, SBWR, it is now part of the prestigious regional network of 30 protected areas, forming the complete spectrum of representative ecosystems in ASEAN. This is indeed a significant milestone for Bukit Timah Reserve and Singapore. Let us not undo that achievement. Our National Biodiversity Centre, NBC, represents Singapore in the ASEAN Centre for Biodiversity. It is part of the action plan to curb rapid regional biodiversity loss and degradation. Losing more of our forests is not true to that action plan. Let us remind ourselves. Our tropical rainforest is our Southeast Asian identity and common heritage, for we were once part of an ancient continent called Sundaland, an ancient continent that covers present-day southern Thailand, peninsular Malaysia, Singapore, Sumatra, Java, and Bali. Let us not tamper with our fast diminishing regional heritage. 4. UN Decade to reduce biodiversity loss. United Nations World Biodiversity Day was celebrated a month ago on May 22nd. The UN General Assembly declared 2011 to 2020 the UN Decade on Biodiversity to reduce global biodiversity loss. Let us not make this the decade where Singapore will lose more of our remaining biodiversity. NParks will be hosting its Festival of Biodiversity in July, and we look forward to that. However, what do we tell our students when they visit the festival promoting our unique species in our rainforest canopy and streams? Sorry kids, forget the Singapore chili crab for 1 minute and take a good look at our endemic freshwater crabs, because they won't be around for much longer. So, let us embrace and protect our natural legacy, our very own native crabs living in our rainforest streams. Don't let our kids and researchers of Raffles Museum of Biodiversity Research, RMBR, study our special crabs and many other crustacea and freshwater fish species only after they are gone. 5. Save our highly endangered pangolins and other fauna. In 2 days, on Monday, 24th June, I will be attending the first IUCN SSC Pangolin Special Group Conservation Conference, held here in Singapore. The international conference will bring about pangolin experts from Africa and Asia to discuss global strategies for scaling up pangolin conservation. Pangolins, 穿山甲, are under severe threat globally. mainly due to illicit wildlife trade and habitat loss, and once again, rapid action is needed for their conservation. In Singapore, the Sunda pangolin, our Malayan scaly anteater, scientific name Manis javanica, is found in Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, Central Catchment Nature Reserve, and other wild areas of Singapore. Therefore, the digging and boring of holes every 15 meters or so for soil investigations in order to build an underground MRT line will have negative impact on the ecology of our highly endangered pangolin, as well as many other sensitive forest wildlife. Even without cutting or clearing any trees, the forest disturbance will lead to pollution, erosion, siltation, and an ecological disaster. Siltation may kill rare freshwater animals living in our pristine McRitchie streams. Digging means the beginning of the end. 6. Leave a little legacy for the children of Singapore. We are in an age of wanton destruction of our global rainforests and their endemic species in the name of development. We are in full awareness of the need for sustainability and importance of biodiversity. We must ask ourselves, do we need the shortest train ride at any cost? Rerouting the Cross Island MRT line to go around the reserve via Lonnie Road will only add another few minutes of travel, but it will save our forests for generations and generations to come. Surely this is not too much to ask for. The rainforest is our children's last wild frontier to discover nature's mysteries. Please leave a little legacy of awe and wonder for the children of Singapore. Please leave a little biodiversity for Southeast Asians and humanity. These legacies did not come easily. These are the riches we have inherited from millions of years of evolution. Do not take a risk and destroy our last green gem. For if we deliberately damage our roots, like killing off the last Malayan tiger and getting rid of the last Singapore kampong, I fear it will break our hearts and crack our communal spirits. 7. Our country needs roots. Would we deliberately plan to cut through a historical and cultural heritage site such as the Istana or the Padang? The answer is no. Let us value our natural heritage as much as we value our cultural heritage. Why do countries gladly flaunt their oldest this and that? Why do people throng to visit the oldest pyramids and flock to see the oldest temples? That is because we need strong roots to stand upon. The older the roots, the higher we stand, the bigger the awe and national pride. That is why Taman Negara and Borneo rainforests are advertised as oldest rainforests in the world at 130 million years. That is why our National Heritage Board is promoting the flea market at Sungai Road as Singapore's largest and oldest flea market. A country is nothing without people, and people are lost without roots. Roots tied to our culture and nature. Roots chained to our heritage. Recognize it or not, our island's oldest roots, before the colonial era, before the Malay kingdoms, before the Majapahit and Srivijaya maritime empires, is still our natural heritage, our jungles, our coral reefs, mangrove buffers, and their amazing wildlife, our wildlife. 8. Ancient legacy for a young nation. The rainforest is an authentic ancient legacy that belongs to all the shopping and makan and Facebooking citizens of Singapore, regardless of which ethnic culture they come from and what knowledge they have of the forest. Empty out that common legacy, and you are cutting off old roots at a peril. As a young nation, our unique wildlife is something truly ancient that naturally belongs to us. We do not have to conjure this heritage in a tourism campaign, with due respect, of course, to our mythical Malayan. We just have to protect it. The rainforest is not just a bunch of trees. It is sacred home to wildlife, a heritage that enriches our stressed lives, and a route to foster our fledgling identity. 9. Paying extreme price for cross-island MRT line. I am all for a great public transport system. I acknowledge that ours is one of the very best. I find our MRT very clean, efficient, and comfortable compared to many other mass transport systems around the world. My family, friends, and I use the MRT and public transport a lot, as it is eco-friendly and very affordable. However, we do not wish to take a shorter ride only to pay the extremely high and toxic price of damaging our heritage. Certainly not if it is going to be a faster ride to species extinction. Let us recap all the reasons. 1. The record of forest devastation must stop. 2. We can't afford to take a risk with our reserves. 3. The rainforest is our regional heritage and identity. 4. This is the UN decade to reduce global biodiversity loss. 5. Save our highly endangered pangolins, freshwater fauna, banded leaf monkey, and other wildlife. 6. Leave a little legacy for the children of Singapore. 7. Our country needs roots to be grounded. 8. The rainforest is an authentic ancient legacy for our young nation. 9. We do not want to pay an extreme price for cross-island MRT. LTA. Let's try again. It is not too late. Please halt the runaway train in its tracks and save the day for our heritage. Thank you all.